When you hear the person you love say they feel nothing for you, something inside you breaks quietly. There's no shouting, no argument, just silence. That was me the night my wife, Claire, looked at me across the dinner table and said, "I don't feel anything anymore." We'd been married for 7 years. Not perfect years, but real ones. We'd built a small house together, taken road trips, survived job losses, celebrated birthdays. We'd had the kind of love that wasn't always loud but felt safe. Until suddenly, it didn't. 4 months, I'd noticed her distance. The empty stares, the forced smiles, the nights she claimed to be exhausted but spent scrolling through her phone. When I asked if something was wrong, she said she just needed space. I gave it. Maybe too much. That night, I finally asked, "Do you still love me?" She hesitated before whispering, "I don't know. I don't feel what I used to. I feel nothing." I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I just nodded and said, "All right." Then I stood up, went to the bedroom, and sat in the dark for hours. My mind replayed our memories like an old movie that no longer felt like mine. The next few days were quiet. She went about her life as if nothing had changed. I cooked breakfast. She barely looked at me. I left notes on the counter. She ignored them. She wasn't cruel, just gone. Emotionally gone. The only person who seemed to notice was her younger sister, Emily. She visited often, checking on Claire and me. She was the opposite of her sister. Open, warm, straightforward. One afternoon, while Claire was at work, Emily stopped by with coffee. "You look like you haven't slept," she said softly. I smiled faintly. Maybe that's because my wife told me she doesn't feel anything for me anymore. She sighed, sitting across from me. I knew something was wrong. She's been distant even with family. "But you don't deserve this." I didn't know what to say. I just stared at the coffee cup in my hand, wondering how love could vanish so suddenly. A few days later, Claire told me she wanted a trial separation. That night, she packed a small bag and said she'd stay with her parents for a while. She didn't ask if I was okay. She didn't even look back when she closed the door. For 2 weeks, the house was silent. Empty plates, untouched coffee mugs, rooms that still smelled like her perfume. I didn't reach out. I wanted to see if she would. She didn't. Then, one evening, there was a knock on the door. It was Emily. She looked nervous, holding a small folder in her hands. "I need to talk to you," she said. We sat down. She hesitated for a moment before saying, "I shouldn't be telling you this, but Claire's been talking to someone else. A co-worker. It started months ago. She said she didn't feel anything for you because she already had feelings for him." My chest tightened, but strangely, I wasn't surprised. Deep down, I'd known. Emily continued, "I told her she was making a mistake. That you're a good man." She didn't listen. I closed my eyes, nodded slowly, and said, "Thank you for telling me." But then Emily said something I'll never forget. She asked me to tell you not to make things difficult when she files for divorce. I stared at her, trying to process those words. After 7 years, I was reduced to a warning message through her sister. Emily's eyes softened. "I don't agree with her. She's lost. But you, don't let this break you. You deserve better." We sat in silence for a while. Before she left, she looked at me and said quietly, "If you ever need help sorting things out, papers, lawyers, anything, call me. I'll help." Days later, the papers came. And true to her word, Emily helped me through it. She stood by me when her own sister avoided me. She made sure everything was handled fairly. Months passed. The divorce was finalized quietly. Claire moved away with her co-worker. I didn't hear from her again. Then, one afternoon, Emily came by again to return some documents. As we talked, she said something that stayed with me. "You know, Claire always said you were too patient, too forgiving. But that's not weakness. That's strength. I wish she realized that before she lost you." I smiled for the first time in months. Maybe it's better she didn't. We shared a quiet moment, one that didn't need explaining. There was no romance, no spark, just mutual respect and understanding. A few weeks later, I heard through mutual friends that Claire's relationship with her co-worker ended badly. He had moved on. She tried reaching out to me once, a short message that said, "I made a mistake." I didn't reply. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't anger, it's peace. And peace is what I finally had. Looking back, I realized something. Love doesn't die in one moment. It fades in all the small ones when someone stops trying. Claire gave up long before I did, but her sister reminded me what real loyalty looks like. And maybe that was the shocking offer all along. Not love, but kindness from someone who still believed I deserved better.